precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Danushka Madhavela, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. New draft constitution for Sri Lanka cricket has been handed over to the President. The National Election Commission says that the 2024 electoral list will be certified by the end of next month. The Medical Supplies Division has planned to distribute the stock of anesthetic medicine received Colombo Fort today. Railway strike temporarily called off. The President says that despite economic challenges, education remains a priority in the country. And in world news, 1 million people exhausted, people trapped in South due to Gaza war. In sports, Ramesh Tharanga sets new Sri Lanka and meet record at Asian Throwing Championships. Now the local news in detail. The draft constitution prepared by the Judge Chitrasiri Committee for the Sri Lanka Cricket Board was presented to President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat today. The draft was handed over to President Ranil Wickremesinghe by the committee chairman, retired Supreme Court Judge K.T. Chitrasiri, accompanied by other committee members, to address the challenges faced by Sri Lanka cricket and provide appropriate recommendations. A cabinet subcommittee was appointed on November 6, 2023. Chaired by Minister of Foreign Affairs and President's Counsel Ali Sabri, the subcommittee included Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara, Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment Manusha Nayakkara, and Minister of Public Security Tiran Ellis. Following extensive discussions with stakeholders involved in cricket, the subcommittee presented its report to the Cabinet on January 8, 2024. The recommendations covered several key areas including the composition and structure of Sri Lanka Cricket Board, administration, training, and the overall well-being of players at various levels such as the national men's and women's teams and the under-19 and under-17 age groups. Emphasis was placed on promoting good governance, transparency, professionalism and accountability within Sri Lanka cricket. Additionally, proposals were made to reform the nutritional framework of Sri Lankan cricket across school, district, provincial and community levels, focusing on merit, equality and fairness. Based on the recommendations presented in the report by the Cabinet Subcommittee, the Cabinet convened on February 13, 2024 and appointed an expert committee to draft a new constitution for the Sri Lanka Cricket Board. Chairman of the National Election Commission, RMAL Ratnayaka, says that the 2024 electoral list will be certified by the end of next month. The investigating of appeals received to the first draft is now being held with the participation of assistant and district commissioners. The chairman says that all elections after the next month can be conducted according to the 2024 electoral list. Deputy Director General of the Medical Supplies Division of the Health Ministry, Dr. G. Vijay Surya, says they have planned to distribute the stock of anesthetic medicine received Colombo Fort today. He said that the hospital directors have been advised to purchase anesthetic medicines from the private sector to conduct operations. A shortage of anesthetic drugs has been reported in the operating theatres of the National Hospital recently. Minister Ramesh Patirana says that the required medicines for the hospitals will be received during the next few days. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, the Sri Lanka Railway Station Masters Union has decided to temporarily call off their planned strike action with the suspension in effect until next Tuesday. President of the Railway Station Masters Union, Sumedha Somaratna, says that during the discussion with the General Manager of Railways, they have received positive responses to some of their demands. He further elaborated that the acting minister participated in the discussions and identified the contradiction between the cabinet paper sent by the department and the letter sent by the ministry. He added that a correction has been approved and is promised to be addressed during the Public Service Commission meeting on Tuesday. President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated that the country is striving to develop the best education system in South Asia, tailored for the future. He made this announcement during the ceremony of handing over the first phase of the newly constructed 3-story building at Buddhist Girls National College Kirimatiyana, Chilau to the students yesterday. Despite facing economic challenges, the President emphasized that the government has prioritized funding for education, highlighting that the education is the strength of the country. President Wickremesinghe received a warm welcome from the students upon his arrival at Buddhist Girls National College Kirimatiyana. After offering flowers at the Buddhist shrine of the school and receiving blessings, President Ranil Wickremesinghe unveiled the plaque and handed over the new building to the students. He toured the new classrooms and engaged in a friendly conversation with the students. The President presented gifts to the students who excelled in the GCE Advanced Level examination. A commemorative gift was also given to President Wickremesinghe from the school. The first phase of the new building cost 450 million rupees, funded by both the government and the parents. Responding to a request made by the students, President Wickremesinghe mentioned that the construction of this building will be completed in 2 phases. President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlighted that the government's responsibility is to develop the country, emphasizing that this is not a time for mere slogan chanting. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala.
A special operation mounted by the Navy led to the interception of a local multi-day fishing trawler on suspicion of smuggling narcotics on a high seas about 400 nautical miles south of Sri Lanka. The trawler was escorted to the Galle harbour yesterday. It is suspected that the trawler has smuggled about 150 kilograms of heroin, and through search of the trawler is currently underway by the Navy. The Navy says that the street value of the heroin is about 2 billion rupees. That was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala.
Moving on to Watchlight. Traffic will be restricted at the Kohuala junction for a period of 2 months due to the construction of the Kohuala flyover. The police state the last phase of the construction will take place from today to the 15th of August 2024. Accordingly, the Colombo-Horana road will only be open for public transportation during this period, while traffic will be restricted for other vehicles on the said road. The police further said that heavy vehicles will not be provided access towards the Kohuala junction. Motorists have been requested to use alternative roads during this period. That came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Taking a look at the headlines of the world news, 1 million people exhausted, people trapped in South due to Gaza war. Sudan's army repels assault on El Fasher. Kate making good progress and to be at royal event. Now the world news in detail. Kalskayo, Deputy Executive Director of UN's World Food Programme, says 1 million displaced people in the southern Gaza are trapped without clean water or sanitation, and the level of destruction is shocking. Medical sources tells Al Jazeera that 25 Palestinians were killed in Gaza yesterday. An infant was killed in a strike on Gaza City's Tuaf neighborhood, where 30 people were also injured. The Qassam Brigades, the armed wing of Hamas, says that Israeli army airstrikes have killed 2 Israeli captives held by the group in the Gaza Strip. The UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency must be allowed to work unhindered in Gaza, group of 7 leaders say, as the summit wraps up in Italy. At least 37,266 people have been killed and 85,102 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza since October 7th. The revised death toll in Israel from Hamas attacks stands at 1,139, with dozens of people still held captive in Gaza. Sudan's Rapid Support Forces launched a major attack on El Fasher in North Darfur a day after the UN Security Council demanded the militia halt its week-long siege of the city. Sudan's armed forces aborted the attack and inflicted huge losses, with hundreds of dead and wounded in the failed RSF assault, it said in a statement. Among those killed was a senior RSF commander, Ali Gibril, and the attackers fled from the battlefield, it added. No response from RSF was immediately available. The conflict in Sudan broke out in April 2023 between the Sudanese armed forces led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the RSF, which is loyal to General Mohammed Hamdan Hemedti Dagalo. The Princess of Wales says she is making good progress after her cancer diagnosis and will attend Trooping the Colour today. This will be her first public appearance this year following the diagnosis and her abdominal surgery in January. But in a personal message, Catherine says her treatment is still ongoing and will continue for another few months. This is the most significant update on Catherine's health since revealing in March she had cancer in a statement written in her own words. It is accompanied by a new photograph of the princess taken by photographer Matt Poteas, which shows her near her home in Windsor. That ends World News. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the World News once again. 1 million people exhausted, people trapped in South due to Gaza war. Sudan's army repels assault on El Fasher. Kate making good progress and to be at royal event. That ends World News.
Development News.
The latest global economic prospects report from the World Bank yesterday forecasts a 2.2% growth for Sri Lanka's economy in 2024. This represents a positive revision of 0.5 percentage points from January, driven by gradual improvements in remittances and tourism. This World Bank report in June, titled Global Economic Prospects, said that tourism and remittances have recorded following the contraction in the economy in 2023. However, the report said that these sectors will remain below pre-pandemic levels. The World Bank indicates that foreign exchange reserves have increased in several countries, including Pakistan and Sri Lanka, reflecting the easing of currency pressures and receipts of official flows, but reserve levels in some countries remain low. That was Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
Sri Lanka's Romesh Tharanga has renewed the meet record and Sri Lanka record in javelin throw event after clinching the gold medal at the Asian Throwing Championships a short while ago. Tharanga won gold at the Asian Throwing Championships with new Sri Lanka record of 85.45 meters. The Asian Throwing Championship is held in South Korea. More in sports news, the USA qualified for the Super 8 stage of the T20 World Cup after their match against Ireland in Florida was washed out. There had been tropical storms and flooding in the morning and over the preceding days, which caused a waterlogged outfield that did not dry in time. Sri Lanka versus Nepal was also washed out at the same venue on Wednesday, and India are scheduled to take on Canada there on Saturday. But a heavy storm followed the badminton, leaving big puddles on the outfield, which also puts the game in doubt. Co-hosts USA join India from their group in reaching the next round, which eliminates Ireland, Canada and Pakistan. Australia, West Indies, Afghanistan and South Africa have also qualified from the other groups. It is a remarkable achievement for a side ranked 18th in the world, playing in their first World Cup and who only played their first T20 international in 2019. That was Sports News.
Go ekaktiana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The U.S. Embassy has announced that Sri Lanka's USAID-funded Sri Lanka Energy Project has received top honours at the 2024 Annual Conference for the Society for International Development, the premier U.S. event for international development professionals. The award was given in recognition of the innovative solar-powered electric vehicle battery swapping stations owned and operated by Sri Lanka Sling Mobility Private Limited, particularly highlighting the station located at the Centre for Women's Research in Colombo, which generates income to support the centre's activities. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news. IMF Senior Mission Chief for Sri Lanka Peter Brewer yesterday said that the Public Financial Management Law will help strengthen fiscal framework and enhance fiscal responsibility. He said that the Public Financial Management Law has now been sent to Parliament, which will help to strengthen the fiscal framework and enhance fiscal responsibility. Brewer added that the law will ensure fiscal discipline. This law will ensure that funds are being spent by the government as intended, he said. Addressing a press conference, Brewer admitted that Sri Lanka has made remarkable progress in the recovery process, even though the country is still not out of danger. That was economic news.
Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. Several spells of showers will occur in western, Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Strong winds of about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills, northern, north-central and northwestern provinces and in Trincomalee, Hambantota and Munaragala districts. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. New draft constitution for Sri Lanka cricket has been handed over to the President. The National Election Commission says that the 2024 electoral list will be certified by the end of next month. The Medical Supplies Division has planned to distribute the stock of anesthetic medicine received Colombo Fort today. Railway strike temporarily called off. The President says that despite economic challenges, education remains a priority in the country. With that, we conclude the news and over to my friend and certainly yours who's all geared up to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music. Over to Asanka.
Thank you, Sabi. That was Sabrina Sava here bringing you the main newscast at 1:15 and time, of course, is 1:34 and that was a lot of new happenings from around the world that we had to share. So wishing Sabrina a very good afternoon and a wonderful Sunday tomorrow, of course, and it's going to be a long weekend as well for her and many of us as well. So we've got lunchtime music coming up next and that's when I will be opening the phone line. So you can call me on 011-269-4316 and ask for your favorite song and we will be playing them for you until 4 in the evening on your choice request show. So stay tuned. This is Radio Sri Lanka.